Welcome to episode 5 of the still unnamed podcast. I get tons of suggestions. I don't care about the name. I really don't. Names are relevant. It's more about the content. And today we're going to talk about business ownership. I started a little mini fire actually on my Instagram page. I'm surprised how many responses I got about stuff and about people who had started businesses, the things they had done, and some of the people who don't have businesses. And I always find it funny how everybody's reason for not like having something on their, I'm not saying don't work a job. Everybody in their brain thinks like, we're going to get right into this. Everybody in their brain thinks, I start a business tomorrow. I have to quit my job. I have to just be very successful tomorrow. I just don't get it. I've been a business owner since I was a teenager of some kind, insignificant businesses, like dumb little things even. I consider like business ownership and entrepreneurship, even kids that have the capacity and willingness to go and like start mowing lawns and going to their neighbors. That's like a business, whether you believe it or not. It really is. It's an entrepreneurship direction. I consider those things businesses. And I've been doing that kind of stuff since I've been a teenager, young, 13 years old, 12 years old, stuff like that. And I've worked so many jobs in my life, being an employee within the corporation, within the world that I don't like. A lot of business owners own businesses and work jobs. I know that might have just like just blowing your mind that you mean that people actually work outside of their hours at work and they don't just watch Netflix and play recreational sports. They don't go play softball and slow pitch and talk about the newest Netflix drama. No, they go and they do things and they build a future and they don't tell everyone why they can't. Explain to me if you're listening to this, honestly, and if you get offended by this, you're your own problem. Like, I don't care if you're bothered by this. I don't want your involvement in my life in any way, shape, or form, even as like a follower or whatever you want to call yourself, a listener. I don't need that. If you can explain to me a legitimate reason why you can't work a job or 2 jobs or 3 jobs and raise 6 kids as a single mother and still not find time at 1 a.m, I don't care when it is, where you can start to create some source of income for yourself, whether it be $50 extra a month or whether it be $50,000 extra a month. If you can give me a legitimate reason, which you can't, I'd listen to you. That's not an invitation to start sending me messages justifying why you're a victim and why you can't do something. It's amazing. You can get free stuff off Kijiji or Marketplace. Kijiji, if an American's listening to this, Kijiji is eBay classifieds in Canada, or Facebook Marketplace, or any sort of classifieds ad. You can get free stuff and sell it. It's amazing. What a concept. If you're willing to do the work, you can buy things for less money and sell them. Guess what that's called? A business. I'm only going to make a couple $100 a month. It's not worth my time. And that's the same person that says that, the same person that says, I can't afford to feed my kids. I can't keep up with inflation. Like these gas prices are killing me. But you're too good for a couple $100 a month? Sorry. I mean, so many people have status and there's no justification for it. Status stands for still too arrogant to understand success. It means you're so propped up in your own little world about what it's supposed to look like and what you're supposed to look like that you can't get away from yourself, get over yourself, and just do what it takes. So many people need to be humbled. It's like, oh, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm above that. Okay, if you're above it, that's cool. You can be above whatever you want, but shut the fuck up and stop complaining. Stop talking about how you can't afford to do things. Stop talking about how you can't start this business or you can't create something for yourself. You get it one or the other. And I think that so many people are so hung up on what it is. Oh my God, I've been talking about this stuff for a while on my Instagram. If you don't follow me on Instagram, I'm wondering how you found this podcast, but I've been talking about entrepreneurship, business owner, and I've been a full-time entrepreneur for about 4 years now. Haven't worked a job in over 4 years. So pre-pandemic, started a company from nothing. Went through the pandemic. Well, that's what we're calling it, for just so people understand what we're talking about. We all know what it was. Well, those of us that know. Um, yeah, lost. Got some tough times in the first 90 days. Real bad shape. Recovered, and now it's doubling over itself basically every 6 months. So anyway, it's been pretty cool in that sense. But I've also owned businesses really for well over a decade now, continually while being an employee, building things for our future, and can still own those companies outside of this one traditional brick and mortar style business. But anyway, so I've been a full-time business owner for 4 years. But before that, I worked jobs. And what I'm trying to get at here is that it's never going to look like what you think it's going to look like. You know, everybody has this they messaged me. What I was getting at was they messaged me. I got all these messages saying that I've been speaking about this for over a year, and people always tell me why. I can't find the right thing. Do you have any tips? Do you have any ideas? I mean, if you can't find 15 business ideas walking around your city in half an hour, I don't know. You're not looking. If you can't figure it out from the internet, business ideas, I mean, the list goes on and on. Like, people will pay you to do anything nowadays, even though they're broke and they're complaining. Most of you that are broke and complaining that you can't survive and you can't believe you don't understand how people afford to live. Most of you order Skip the Dishes at least once a week, if not more. You guys pay for this food delivery service that is insane. And then you'll sit there and talk about how you can't afford to live and you can't come up with any ideas to run your own business while you're ordering food from a store that random strangers bringing to you and probably snacking on and doing other weird things to your food. Guys, there's tons of ideas. People will pay for almost anything. If you have a skill, if you have an ability, you can make money at it. You know, maybe you could tutor if you're smart in an area, and you can charge for that, and you can do some of that tutoring virtually via Zoom. You can you can go and cut grass. You can start like a mini landscape company, snow removal, cutting grass, residential snow removal, cutting grass, shoveling with a shovel. I'm not saying you have to go buy a Bobcat and all these other things or a skid steer and do all this stuff and buy this. It all starts somewhere. The problem is most of you aren't willing to humble yourselves and start from new beginnings, from nothing, and start your company. You want it to look fancy. It's like you all think like, well, I'm going to start this company and I'm going to have hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of equipment to do this beautiful thing. Like, I want to start a restaurant. I'm just going to fall on this, building with this beautiful kitchen and this beautiful sitting area because you don't have any money to start a business. And personally, I have nothing but respect for people in the restaurant industry. I wouldn't touch it with a 50-foot pole, especially what we've seen over the last 2 years. I also wouldn't touch the fitness industry with a 50-foot pole. Even though I love the fitness industry, it just scares the hell out of me. But I mean, you guys have this impression that a business has to start fancy. A business can start with anything you want. My traditional brick and mortar business started with literally $0. $0. We did some interesting things to make some things work because me and my business partner were 50-50 owners. There's no magic money behind it. We're both husbands and fathers of wives that do not work jobs, who stay at home and raise our kids and homeschool. Both of our wives do the same thing. And so when people tell me, oh, I can't start a business, I have no money. I'm this, I'm that. I'm like, I'm a single mom. Oh, good. You're a single mom. So you only have a couple kids to worry about. Because I'll tell you what, when you got a wife and I have one kid, but my business partner has 3 kids. He's got a wife and 3 kids at home. She doesn't bring in any income. And he's got to start a business that starts from nothing. So he's not making any money. And he's got $0 coming in. He's got to take care of himself, his wife, which I don't know if you know this, but 2 grown adults eat more food than three small kids. And you were like, well, not my kid. Sure, whatever. And then 3 kids to feed. and bills to pay and everything else. So I'm sure you got a great reason why you can't do anything. I'm sure you do. I'm sure your justification is just wonderful in your eyes. Keep doing it. And then when people like me make posts about it, just shut up. Just go justify it away somewhere else. Don't make excuses. And I'll tell you what, when people message me, if you're one of those people that message me about an idea or a tip or something you could do, and I don't reply to those messages, I'm going to tell you why. Because if you don't have the ambition and the desire to come up with your own concept or like willing, you're literally looking for someone to spoon feed you the business idea that you can go and do. Let me tell you what, you do not have the balls or the work ethic to build a business, and you'll never do it. And I won't waste my breath on you because you can't even come up with the concept. You're asking someone else to just spoon feed you the information. Then you'll probably want that same person to do it, build the whole business for you. Like, it's just crazy. Like, it's absolutely insane. Let me tell you something. One of my most admirable business that I own, which is not my traditional brick and mortar business. It's not even close. And I'll tell you what, that traditional brick and mortar business that I started 4 years ago with $0, me and my business partner, we just missed $1 million revenue month. We're so close to our first $1 million in revenue in a month. We're like right there. And it's insane. It's crazy to think that we went from nothing to that. And some people will be like, well, you could do it faster or that doesn't sound all that great. Cool. Cool. I mean, you go do your podcast and tell us about your business. I don't care. But I'm proud of what I've accomplished in that. But what I'm most excited about is really like creating freedom for myself. And my traditional business is never going to create that. I'm always going to be tied to it in some way or another. But like over a decade ago, my wife and I met some people. I met a guy who was a total stranger to me, who had everything I wanted from a success standpoint in my mind. Everything I wanted. Financially set up, prioritized his marriage, prioritized his relationship with his kids, lived through good values, saw the world the same way I saw the world. All these things are important. And these should all be important for you in all relationships in your life. Friendships, relationships that could lead to marriage, and business relationships. All these things should matter to you. You can't build relationships with people that see things different in the world than you do. Otherwise, you're going to have pain. I promise you. So I met this guy who was a total stranger to me. And I'll tell you what, I borderline kidnapped him. So, because I wanted to know what he knew. I wanted to understand. He was the same age as me at the time. See, he's still the same age as me today, believe it or not. Isn't that funny how we age the same way? But I was intrigued by the fact that he had created the life that he had created, and he was the same age as me. And in my brain, I thought I made more money than him. Because he still was working a traditional job while owning a very successful business. See that? What's the common theme there? You start a business while you work your job. You build your business in your off hours from your job. That means, yes, you lazy shit, you have to work 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. or whatever, 9 to 5, 8 a.m. to 4. I don't know what your hours are. I don't care. And then your after hours from 5 to midnight, you build your future. You build your dream. You don't watch Netflix, all these other things. Okay. That's the common theme. You find most successful people. That's how they did it. They worked a job, which funded their business, which built their dream. And most of you lose interest in 30 seconds. Forget about trying to push through that. Forget about being tired, working hard for 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, 5 years by working a job and building a business so that at the end of it, you could create the life you really want. Because you don't actually really want that life. I'm going to tell you that right now. Because if you really wanted it, you do the work. And it's funny, there's a pro golfer, I don't know who he is. John Maxwell also tells this story. This apparently happened to him in the same. I'm sure this happens to tons of successful people. If you don't know who John Maxwell is, Google him. But this happened to a pro golfer. And John Maxwell, and like I said, many successful people, I'm sure. There was a guy he was at a golf course, and he was chipping on the green. He's just practicing chipping onto the green, and he's sinking these balls, probably 20, 30% of them straight in the hole. And then otherwise he's within a couple inches almost every time. Boom, boom, boom. And this guy comes up to him and says, man, I've been watching you're an incredible golfer. I would do anything to be able to be able to do what you do. And the golfer looks at him and says, hey, no offense, but you wouldn't. Because if you would do anything to do what I do, you'd be able to. Because this guy, he's like tens of thousands of shots. Shooting in the rain, in the sun, in the wind, blisters on my hands, nonstop. Tens of thousands of shots. So many people, they look at successful people and they say, I would do anything to live that life. Bullshit, because if you would have done it by now. You would just do it. And it's not like, well, I don't know how. You do know how. Okay, find people that live the way you want to live and reach out to them and convince them you're worth investing into. Convince them to teach you to live the way they lived. And that's basically what I did with this strange man that today is my best friend in the whole world. He's my mentor, my confidant. He's everything important to me. Godparents to our daughter, him and his wife. And the list of things go on and on, that relationship with them today when they were perfect strangers. And really, like, we had to convince them that we were a worthwhile investment for them to invest in us, to teach us what they knew and what they had done, because they had gone before us. Because I'll tell you what, there are millions and millions and millions of people, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of people that'll give you an opinion in this world, just nonstop opinions. Because guess what? There's no responsibility in giving an opinion. They are not responsible for the outcome. They're not going to come and take care of you when they give you bad advice and all of a sudden your world explodes. They're like, well, guess that didn't work out. Or they probably won't even notice that it didn't work out, but you're falling apart. Because people give advice freely because there's no consequences. And most of these people giving you advice have no experience or success in the area they're giving you advice. Okay? You're taking advice from the people that you don't like. It's so funny how people they'll get this business idea, they'll start working towards it, and they'll turn to their friends and family, their broke friends and family. Like, oh, I want to build a business because I although I love and respect my parents and everything they did for me and my siblings, right? That this is me saying like what people will go through in their brain. But I don't want to live the life they live. I don't want to have to struggle like they struggled. I want to live a better life. And let me tell you something, your parents want you to as well. But then you'll get this ideal, you'll start working hard, you'll learn a few things, or you'll get some tips from some successful people, and you'll go and you'll take that information and you'll run it by your parents or whoever. I'm using parents as an example. You'll run it by your parents who, remember, don't live the life you want to live. And they'll say, oh, be careful. I don't know. That sounds risky. That sounds dangerous. Maybe you should just really focus on your job. Remember, you don't want to live the life they live, but they live a certain way. They don't know what they don't know. And they're not intentionally trying to hurt you, but they're trying to protect you because they are emotionally invested in you. They don't want to see you suffer. They don't want to see you struggle. And in their brain, they think that this is the best way, working your job, because that's what they did. So let me give you the biggest piece of advice you're ever going to get when it comes to building a business. Don't run your thoughts and your plans through people that do not have the life you want to live, that do not have experience. I don't give a shit if it's your best friend, your mom. I tell my mom everything. My mommy doesn't. Shut up. You can love and respect these people, but these people don't have what you want. You should only take input from people that have success in the area you want. If you're taking marriage advice from the guy, your dad who's been divorced 3 times, or from the coworker at your work that's on his 3rd marriage or 2nd marriage or anything like that, or the guy who's cheating on his wife nonstop, and you're complaining about your relationship and taking advice from that person, you're an idiot, right? You would agree with that, I would hope. So why are you going to take business advice from somebody who's never, ever owned a business or ever had a desire to, or has only kind of dipped their toe in it and then run scared like everybody else? You wouldn't. It's just stupid. It's absolutely insane. And this is how most of you make these decisions. This is why most of you aren't business owners of any kind. And you have to remember something. You are running things through a set of glasses, a filter that you're sitting there. Most of you that listen to me are people that are part of like the truther community or freedom, whatever you want to call it. You don't necessarily agree with what's going on in the world the last couple of years. You're starting to see things for what they really are, right? Most of you are. Some of you maybe not. And that's fine. It doesn't matter. But if you are from that side of things and you don't you question everything you hear, can you explain to me why you run things through filters in your brain that were created from the system that you don't trust anymore? You're like, I just made a funny face if you're not watching this. If you're just listening to it, you're sitting there and you're like, you run it through the filters of the broken system. All the information you've learned through the education system, the indoctrination system, especially if you've gone to post-secondary, just indoctrinated out your yin yang. You run all this information through those filters that have been programmed into your brain, and then you start questioning them. But you'll sit there and judge other people with the things that have been going on in the world for the last 2 years. Oh, I don't understand why they can't see it. It's so obvious. Well, I don't understand how you can't see. You make such dumb decisions because you run your shit through a broken filter. It's so obvious, but it's not to you. You're sitting there and you're repeating the same thing over and over again. And then you come up with these excuses like, I don't have a good idea. I just need to figure something out. I don't have money. I don't have time. I can't. Like, I get it. Nobody can or can't. You know how many people are out there that are proving you wrong every single day? Someone who's got an equal or greater struggle in life is just literally kicking your ass. Whatever your reason is, you don't know, Brandon. You don't know. You don't know what it's like. It's easy for you to judge me. It's easy for you to sit there behind that camera and talking to that microphone. You don't know what I've gone through or what I'm going through. Yeah, you're right. I don't. And honestly, this is going to sound harsh. I don't care. And let me remind you of something. You don't know what I've gone through. You don't know what I'm going through. You don't know shit about me. You can sit there and say, this guy's privileged and this and that because he sits there and does that. But you don't know. You don't know my struggle. You don't know my journey. You don't know anything about me. You don't know if my circumstances are worse than yours or better than yours. Let me tell you something. Most people are wimps today. Most people think like they can't do something. They think they have this insurmountable obstacle because of some dumb, stupid thing. Where back in the day, like a couple generations ago, like why Canada and the US were so strong during the 50s is because that generation of people just didn't complain. They just got shit done. It was just the way it was. Now today, like people get taken out because the weather's bad or someone triggered them. Like I like what? What? Or they're stressed out financially. It's like, I'm sorry, like you're weak as hell. And the reason for so many of us who are, and I'm not perfect, trust me. And I'm far from the most successful person on the planet. I'm not trying to claim that in this episode, or never will I. Even if I was worth billions and billions of dollars and I had the picture, I would never claim that. I'm just a normal person like everyone else. So let me get that out of the way. But I'll tell you what, for people that are out there that are grinding it out, that are entrepreneurs, that are working jobs and building businesses on the side. And guess what? The first business you start might fail. The second one might fail. The third one the 10th one might fail, but you keep going because you just keep getting up. And guess what? For all you guys that say it's too hard, for those of us, it's just hard enough because it keeps the weak people out. It keeps the crybabies out. So go and do your thing and cry, but don't cry to people like me. Success does not have sympathy for the validity of your excuses. A friend of mine sent me a reel on Instagram, I don't know, about 10 days ago. And I don't even know who it was or what it was, but I was deeply impacted by it. And the guy in the video is talking about a guy who lost, I don't know, over 100 pounds of weight by going to the gym. But when he started by going for 5 minutes. Every single day he went to the gym for 5 minutes. That was it. And everyone's like, that's stupid. We can't get anything done in 5 minutes. You're right. Physical activity, you're not really going to get much done. Even if you went there already changed and you walked in there and you hustled and you like just jumped on the treadmill and ran. I mean, 5 minutes is just 5 minutes. You're not really burning a lot of calories. So you're not going to get anything done in that sense. But the funny thing was the guy just showed up 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes. I don't know for how many days. Call it 60 days. And after that, he started making it longer. He'd stay for an hour or an hour and a half, whatever. Because the point of it is he was trying to establish a habit. Just showing up is the hardest part. Once you're there, it's easy because you're already there. Just get it done. So that 5 minutes that he was programming his brain to know that he had to do it, because before you can, I can't remember exact quote from the reel. It's incredible. But before you can grow a habit, like develop it further, you have to establish it first. And so many of you are unwilling to establish habits to make your life more successful. You're caught up in the habits that you're so used to, the waiting pool of life. You're not willing to break it. And just try adding a few things into your life that you think would be easy. Like an example, try listening to a podcast every day. If you don't already do it, if you already do it, great. I don't care. I'm just using this as examples. Try not like some bullshit podcast like mine, or something about murder mysteries. I'm talking about listening to positive stuff about, and maybe you consider my stuff positive. Great. You can listen to it. But I don't do a daily one yet. But something that motivates you every day to be better, be stronger. Try reading from a book every day for half an hour. Not romance books or mystery books or, not fictitious stuff. I'm talking about nonfiction, personal growth stuff, whether it be on finances, if you're a person of faith, religion, something like that, reading a faith-based book, something about relationships, if marriage is important to you. I could list off some great books in that department. Anything. Try doing that. And if you don't do these things already, you'd be like, oh, that's easy. I can listen to this. I can listen to this podcast when I'm driving or when I'm getting ready in the morning. And I take the train to work so I can read on the train. Okay, sure. That's easy. Hey, do it then. Do it for 60 days straight, every single day. Don't miss a day. Very easy things to do. Very easy things to do because you can add them in on things you're already doing. But I'll bet you'll screw them up and you'll just stop doing them. Once you miss one day, it turns to 2, it turns to 3, it turns to forever. And that's the difference between those people that will go and build something, because I'll tell you what, you don't want it bad enough. You can get by. It's easier to get by financially, working your shitty job and complain about it with your friends, getting together and everyone's like, oh, I know. And everybody just supports each other in their bullshit complaints than it is to actually pick yourself up and do something after the fact. Do you want to know why I'm unable to record one of these every day or even consistently do it weekly? Because I got other shit I'm doing. I got other things that honestly are more important than this. I don't record this shit for me. I don't do my Instagram videos for me. I don't care. I'm not like I'm trying to pursue followers. If you know me, you know that. I literally do this to get information out there to people because I think people need to understand what it takes or need to be aware of certain things. And from what I'm told from the people that I respect most in the world, and even perfect strangers, some people say I have a good way of communicating things in an effective manner that people receive. So if I was given that gift by God, I should use it. And that's what brings me here. I'm never going to charge money for doing a podcast like this. I'm never going to do advertising. I'm not doing this to make money. It costs me money. This thing I'm recording now, because I was using Zoom before, this cost me money. The hosting it on the podcast cost me money. Like, I literally take the money out of my pocket to do this because I'm trying to add value to people. So I don't like, that's the reality, is I do not prioritize things that make me feel good, because this does make me feel good. I love doing this shit. I love freaking out and ranting out about things. This makes me feel great, but it's not my priority. My priority is building my future, my legacy for my wife, my kid, or any future kids, or any other family members I so happen to have. Because it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. When somebody in my family, whether it be a sister or a parent or a cousin or a niece or nephew or anything like that, something's going to come up medically or anything. Maybe one of my nieces is gifted beyond belief in a certain area and she needs, you know, certain schooling. She could be so much better in that, but whatever, they couldn't afford it. I want to be that person that takes care of that. Just don't worry about it. Here's the money. Boom. Or someone's going to die and they need experimental treatment, whether they're family or their friends. I just know someone. I want to take care of that. Those are my priorities in life, not this. And I think that a lot of you need to get that straight. I think a lot of you have these priorities. You're competing in bullshit shit like recreational sports. I talked about that in the beginning. You're trying to win in that. You get so excited about your rec league sports. You get so excited about your fantasy leagues. And you get so excited about this shit that doesn't matter. Grown ass adults running around on dodgeball teams. Are you kidding me right now? Dodgeball? You're 30 and you play competitive dodgeball? You leave your kids at nighttime after you come home from work at 7:00 to go compete in dodgeball? Are you mentally retarded? Seriously. That's where you're giving your time. It's amazing to me what you take from your children. It's with no utter advancement, purely to stimulate yourself. You're selfish desires to feel good and have fun. And I'm okay with you feeling good. I'm okay with people doing things for themselves that stimulate them, but can't you do it together? Like my wife and I, we went to the Dominican Republic for 6 months this winter, 5.5 months, while we were still allowed to fly out of Canada. And we did it with our daughter, and we did it for our daughter. If we didn't have our daughter, we probably wouldn't have went. And we had an incredible time as a family, and we felt good. It was great, but it was because we included our daughter. I'll be honest, and there were people there, and maybe some of them are listening to this. I don't know. There were people there that like wanted to get together, and it seemed like a lot of the parents were consistent about wanting to get together and like pawn their kids off on other people so they could get together with other adults and act like fucking idiots. And we don't subscribe to that. We didn't understand that. We're like, we have no desire to leave our kid anywhere so we can go out and make ourselves feel good. Like I don't get that. And you might sit there and say, this guy's crazy. You're excessive. Cool. Like I value my family. I'm excessive, or maybe the system's got you, right? That's the broken family unit. Anyway, I'm getting off subject here from business ownership, and that's okay. I'll wrap this back to the business ownership soon. But the reality is that we didn't hang out with a lot of those people regularly. We hung out with the people that valued their family. We hung out with the people that wanted to do fun things and have great times collectively and feel good about themselves as a family, that they invest in those people. And that's why I think you're missing the point. So instead of doing these dumb things that make you feel good, and I'm not going to pick on the men here, but like the boys and girls do things that make them feel good. They like that feels right? They don't do things that are right. Men and women do things that are right. They do the right thing. So if you're sitting there frustrated that you're stuck within a system, and if you don't have any desire to get out of the system, you're like, oh, I like my job. Cool. And if you're happy and you're not complaining about it, that's awesome. I think that's great. I'm not trying to convince people they need to change. But if you hate the system you're part of and you hate your job and you complain all day long, then do something about it. I'm not saying that everybody has to be a business owner. I think everybody should be a business owner. I'm not saying everybody has to, though. They can do whatever they want. But you got to start somewhere. So go start something small. I don't care. It doesn't have to be big. Don't run it through your bullshit filter that you've been told to believe things through forever. Don't talk to your stupid friends and family that have no experience, no success in any area you're talking about. Like, just go and do. Don't care what people think. The reason why most people don't do anything in life is because you're worried about what people are going to think about you. People that start cleaning companies, it's hilarious. You go in and like people will laugh at them if you look at someone. Let's say you're of a prestigious career that people think is prestigious. Like, I don't know. I don't know. And let's say you're a teacher. People think that that's like a big deal. And I respect teachers, kind of. Depends on who you are. And after hours, you start this cleaning company where you're like cleaning people's shitty toilets. And people are like, you don't want to tell people, right? Because it's embarrassing. And imagine you're there and you had to go clean your whole house cleaner, and you showed up at one of your coworkers' houses because they booked your little company, and you showed up and they're like, oh, and you're like, this is awkward. And they're like, they tell everyone at work, and they're laughing about you behind your back, and they're making fun of you, and they start putting like little jokes on your locker at work or whatever you have. They're like, they make fun of you, and it gets to you, and it wipes you out. Cool. But that should motivate people. And there's a lot of successful people that are multi millionaires today that happened to 30 years ago. And guess what? Those people are enjoying their lives, and they invested in their family, and they built incredible empires. And those people that made fun of them are working at Walmart as greeters after they retired, because they justify it by saying, well, I need something to do. I can't just sit around, because they don't have the finances to go and live the life they want to live, travel the world, whatever they want to do. But they made fun of the little guy, and their lives suck when they're 60, 50, 60, 70 years old. So stop giving a shit what people think about you. Stop giving a shit. Start whatever business you want, whatever skill set you have that you can make money in, whether it's $50 a week or 50,000 a week. Like I said, it doesn't matter. You got to start somewhere. But my biggest piece of advice for you is find somebody who lives the way you want to live and convince them to teach you. And I mean in all areas, because like a lot of times I tell people who, especially who are in school, that want to go be like a doctor or a lawyer or a psychologist, and I know that's a doctor, apparently. Not making fun of psychologists or psychiatrists. One of them can prescribe and one of them can't prescribe. I don't know which one's which. Doesn't matter. Like they want to go do all these things, and whatever industry you want, police officer, firefighter, sure. But what they very rarely do is they very rarely go and talk to someone who's 5 years ahead of them, 10 years ahead of them, 20 years ahead of them down the road. And they very rarely go and find out, hey, if you could go back and do things differently, would you? Would you still follow this career? What would you do differently? How's your marriage? How's your personal finances? How's your relationships with your kids? Like if these are values of yours, if those aren't values of yours, then who cares? Don't ask those questions. But if your desire is to be I always laugh. I'm going to use this as an example real quick. And sorry, women, if this bothers you, but I always laugh at these women that want to be this big boss, big corporate woman. I'm the one. I'm an independent woman. I got that. Oh, but I want to have kids too. You should not have kids. If you want to be a big swinging dick in the corporate world and you want to like show guys what's up and how big your balls hang down, you want to be that woman. Guess what? You don't get to be a mom. Sure, you could do whatever you want. Who am I to tell you? But you're going to be a shitty mom. Like you really are. You're going to sell your kids off to daycares and the public schooling system. You don't know, I'm going to put them in private school. Sure, whatever. You're going to get the same result from the private school as you are the public school. And your kids are going to grow up to be fucked up. And you're going to be like, oh, what happened? I'll tell you what happened. Sorry. And I can tell you this, my wife never wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. She always wanted to be that successful woman. And she is in her own right. And we I guess it's what you call success. If you got to prove something to the world and you need to go show them how tough you are as a woman or a man, then that's fine. Go do that. But don't try to be both. Don't bring kids into this world and be selfish about having to prove yourself over here, because you're a bad parent, period. Like that's just the definition of a bad parent. Not prioritizing your children is the definition of being a bad parent. Not, you can't argue it. You can be a parent and be a big corporate swinging dick. You can do those two things. One of them you suck at. You either suck at your job and you got fired, or you suck as a parent. Unfortunately, you can't get fired from being a parent. You just screw them up and then let them out into society. Facts. Sorry. So you can argue that all you want, but so I don't think you should be in pursuit of that if you want to be a parent. And I don't think that it doesn't. Those things don't go together. And so anyway, I would take those things into consideration. You can have success. You can prove whatever you need to prove to the world. By creating success and being a good parent and having a good marriage and making all kinds of money and doing whatever is important to you in a different way. It doesn't have to be in the traditional sense. People just make my brain boil with how they consider themselves logical people, and then they contradict themselves constantly. Just absolutely, it's I can't think of the word. It's ridiculous. That's not the word I was thinking of. But so anyway, I would look to help convince people to help me. And I'll tell you what, my wife and I have worked with a lot of people trying to help them get businesses off the ground in different ways. And I can tell you this: most people are full of shit. Most people say they want to do something. Most people waste my time, and that's why, like, I've had people message me on Instagram and say, like, looking for tips, and I don't respond to those people. I don't care. Like, you're a waste of time. I've had other people that have sent me huge long messages about how they're a very strong person of faith, and they God's been pushing them in a direction, and like they feel they need to talk to me, and we go down these conversations, and I'll invest time in these people, and take time away from my kid and my wife and invest in this person, and I don't charge them a cent, because that's just not the way it is. If you're going to help someone, if you choose to invest in someone, that's a choice you make. I don't think that someone can have a successful business relationship. That's why I hate on life coaches. And that's why I hate on business coaches. If you charge someone money to help them be successful, the relationship is based on money only. It's transactional. You actually don't give a shit. Like, these people will take your money and they'll tell you what you want to hear, not what you need to hear. When somebody truly has no monetary benefit in helping you, and they only have this, like, they have this vested interest in you because they told you, and they're a person of integrity. They told you they were going to help you, and their integrity comes before all other things. They're going to tell you what you need to hear every single time. And that's the difference. Is most of these people, like, don't go hire a business coach you pay money to. Don't go hire a life coach you pay money to. And if you're looking at all these courses you can buy online, I'll tell you what, you want to know something? Here's another big trick. You want to know how these courses are all fucking scams? I'll tell you how you know they're all scams. Go buy a course on how to build courses and sell courses. Wow. And then you'll see all these courses, you'll start to spot the methods that they use that you learn from that course about how to build and sell courses. They're all cookie cutter, built the same way to manipulate you out of your money. So stop wasting your money on these things and your time on these people. Most of these people are phony as shit. They got all these fake cars, fake houses, fake everything. Just stop it. Stop it. They're not going to help you. And if you got success by paying for those courses and you figured it out, you would have done it on your own anyway, because you had the work ethic, you had the drive, and you had a dream. You could have just done it for less money, less pain. You could have done it for free and you would have had stronger relationships in your life. I'll tell you, I talked about my friend that I met over 11 years ago, best friend in the world today, my mentor, godparents to my daughter, best man at my wedding, never charged me $1 in my life to help me with anything. Like, that's the kind of relationship I have. You could pay a business coach for 5 years, and the minute you stop paying that person, they got no time for you. They got no time for you. You're not their best friend. They're not the godparent to your kid. You're not the godparent to their kid. It's just reality. And for me personally, I'm looking for genuine relationships in life, not just successful, not just chasing money. I want relationships in my life. And people, I'll tell you what, if people want to work on themselves, I'll always fight for someone as hard as they'll fight for themselves. But I will not spend time after the fact. So if someone quits on themselves, I'm not spending time on that person, because they quit on themselves. They're going to quit on everything in life. That doesn't mean I don't talk to them. If they say hi, I'll say hi, sure. But I'm not pursuing that relationship, that friendship. So anyway, my point is I'll have people that will say all these things and waste all my time, and they quit on themselves. And it's amazing how many of you will quit on yourself. So I would encourage you this. If you're looking to create something for yourself, I'm going to wrap this up here. If you're looking to create something for yourself, whether it be a traditional brick and mortar business, which I would personally advise against at this point in the world, even though I do own one, I would advise against it. Let me tell you why. My fixed operating costs are over $60,000 every single month in my traditional business. And guess what? They go up as I grow. Like, it's ridiculous. At one point, they're probably going to be well over $100,000. They go up. And fixed cost, that's what it costs day one to open the doors. Like if I make less than that, I go broke. To me, that doesn't make a lot of sense, because you can actually start businesses from your home, whether you use the internet or you don't use the internet, and you can have an established fixed operating cost of $2, $3, $4, $500, $1,000, maybe even a couple $1,000, $2, $3, $4 a month. Maybe that's your fixed cost, and they probably won't grow much more than that as your business grows and produces more money. And you can operate these things from your house, all different kinds of versions of it. Now, my biggest point I would share with you, if you're going to do this, I love the idea of like flipping things, selling things, starting a service, whether it be landscaping, cleaning, laundry service, all kinds of things. Maybe returning people's products. I don't like to return stuff when I buy something. I would easily give someone 20% of the return price if they came to my house and returned the item for me. Easily, because my time's worth more money than returning the damn thing. There's a business idea for you. Whoop-de-doo. There's all kinds of business ideas out there. You can start clothing businesses. That seems to be the big thing. Everybody can put a slogan on a t-shirt and make money apparently nowadays. You can do all kinds of things. And where was I going with this? If you're going to do it, if you're going to do this, I would just encourage you to ask yourself this: is there a way to get your freedom back from this business? Or if you're not there, like for example, if you're a chiropractor, I met a successful chiropractor in the Dominican who's from Ontario, and he did some work on me. He's incredible. And his business slows down when he's not there. Sure, it keeps going. He's got chiropractors that work for him, but you know why it slows down? Because he's the guy. Everybody wants to see the guy. He's the magic touch. And unfortunately, you don't want to be the guy. You want to be the guy or girl who sits in the back, who can just like pull the strings and let it happen. Are you building a business that will allow you one day to walk away and have total freedom? If that's your desire. If your desire is to have freedom of time and money and make your own decisions and not be tied to a cell phone or a computer for the rest of your life, so you can go away, let's say you want to go to Hawaii every winter for 4 months, and you never want to pick up your phone, and you never want to touch your laptop and do these things and deal with stressful situations in your office or within your team, will it allow you that freedom? And then will you come back from Hawaii and your business will be more successful than it was when you left? And I would encourage you to build a business like that. I'm not saying your first business has to be that. Just start something. Start something. Do something that's independent from the system, that gives you the tax benefits of being a business owner. Then figure out the rest as you go. And again, I would encourage you to network and meet people and talk to people and build relationships with people that have the success that you want holistically in all areas. If having a good marriage, being a good parent, and having finances taken care of is important to you, find those people. Some people that doesn't matter. Some people you don't give a shit about your marriage. Some people you don't want to be married. Some people you don't want to have kids. Whatever. Those aren't your priorities. I'm giving that as an example. Find them, convince them to help you. But don't waste their fucking time. And I want to say that to do someone else a favor. If you're asking people for help, you better not have a quit button. Do not quit on yourself, because these people, they're going to take time away from you, and they ain't going to charge you because they're the real deal. If you find them, they're going to take time away from their kids and their wife. And remember, those are their values. That's why you're attracted to them. So don't waste their fucking time. Don't quit on them. Don't quit on you. If someone said they're going to help you, stand up, be a man, be a woman, follow through. But get control of your life, start something tomorrow, and pursue the people that have what you want. That's it. It's literally that simple. I don't know how else to break it down. I don't know how you can have rebuttals. I don't know how you can have questions about, well, what should I do? Or how should I do it? It's literally that simple. If you're running things through that in your brain, remember, stop running them through the filtering system that you have created by being part of a system that you don't like, that you don't trust. And stop taking the opinions of people that do not have the results in life that you want. Do not take their opinions. Do not listen to them when they tell you, that's stupid. How much money you make at that thing? You've been doing it for a year. How much money you make at it? $2,000. In a year, you've only made $2,000? I make $2,000 in 2 weeks at my job. Ask them in 5 years how much they make in their job. Probably $2,000. And in 5 years, you'll probably make $2,000 a day without showing up, without trading your time. Stop listening to fucking idiots. Anyway, I'll end that here. Appreciate you all. If you like the episode, great. You got any questions, reach out to me. You can reach me on Instagram at BRASMY. Brasmy, I don't know. First 3 letters of my first name, first 3 letters of my last name, BRASMY. You can connect with me on there. If you like my stuff, share it. I got the video quality up a little more. I switched from Zoom to this other thing. We'll see how it does. I'm going to start having some guests on this, but I really wanted to share this episode with people because I got a hot topic going on entrepreneurship and business ownership, and I really think you should take control of your life. So I hope I added value to you. I'm sure I pissed a few of you off, which is great. I hope I pissed you off in a good way. Some of you maybe stopped listening. You unfollowed me on Instagram. Ooh, I hurt your little feelings. And guess what? That makes me happy because I don't need people like you in my life. So I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm just trying to get you away from me. So anyways, hopefully you're all doing well. Talk to you later.